Damn, Elon. Yeah, the replay system is so. I don't understand how it's this broken. I just don't. And of course, after 7 minutes, the replays, if you're not familiar and you're actually looking through replays on this, after like the 7-minute, 20-second mark-ish, your replays are just going to double in speed. To stop it, you need to move the seek back a little bit and it'll offset it. You'll see it during this. But yeah, this ought to be interesting. I'm curious. Pick up a thing or two for nod players. Get incorporated to the latter games. So top left we got DK playing as the gold nod. Bottom right we got PaRappa as the blue nod. DK opting to push forward with the power plant racks. Same here from PaRappa. Quite standard. Expect to see a ref here, 2 refs in the back, 2 refs in the back. Traditionally players will use a silo and sell it off here and here to get better reach. Okay, got the nice placement from DK, kind of optimal placement to try and get as much of the tib as possible as close to the ref. Seeing a backwards power plant. So DK is doing this newish build where he goes 1 ref, 2 power plants before a second ref. He thinks it's optimal because like the shape of this gives you 3 tiles and 2 tiles, so you can get potentially better placement of the refineries, and you don't have to sell this. Whereas with the silo build, you put it down, you sell it. It can cost you time and money for something you're not necessarily using. But both players with the 3 ref, you can see a couple of scouts and anti-scouts across the map. DK is pretty static, same from PaRappa. It's going to get denied here. This lad going up into the tib. Unlucky. So expect to see a strip here from PaRappa and a strip here from DK. Be interesting to see if PaRappa goes down or up with his crawl. I'd expect him to go up. It's this bottom middle crawl I don't think makes sense for nods, so most players will want to be going up. Meanwhile, DK likely to just come out to standard build, get the strip, crawl to here, and then get the refs here. So this traditionally is a 2 ref field, this is a 1 ref field, this is like a 2 ref field, this is a 2 ref field, and this can be a 2.5 to 3 ref field, I guess. So you got 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, 2 here. You can get a ref here in the middle. Love Handles and I talked about this a little bit in the stream the last day in terms of what makes practical sense for GDI. Is it actually worth them getting a ref here? It actually looks like DK of a similar mindset. He's actually going to skip the middle ref placement. Wouldn't expect that as a nod player, but he'll get the ref straight down here instead. The problem with the ref here is that A, it's super exposed and prone to being sniped, but also your Harv tends to only mine about half of this because of the pathing. It looks in diagonals, so it's going like basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then my next bit of tip is here instead of any of this. So then it goes all the way around and gets sniped, or you have to be careful to micro it. So interesting to see that DK is also opting to try and skip the middle. This might be the new way to do it. So up to 5 ref here. 6 ref. Oh no, 5 ref, apologies. 5 ref doesn't have the one here. Whereas PaRappa also has 5 ref. But has this one special ref in the center. Expect to see a second strip coming down from DK pretty soon. There's a 6 ref from PaRappa. Interesting. DK going for 3 ref on the side field here. So he's going 6 ref to make up for the lack of a ref here. He's opting for 3 on this field. Very interesting. Different. Yeah, I think Zeno was talking more about this specs. Instead of using the silo here, doing a second power plant, so 1 ref, 2 power plant. Okay. Looks like both players going for their second strip. Traditionally, you tend to see this like maybe here and here. DK putting it in here, not a fan of this at all, this placement. This, I think, fully blocks this, so you can't actually move units down through here, I think. Oh, just about he can. Okay, that's a very tight. That's going to cause some potential issues with pathing if he's trying to get units through here in the rush. Meanwhile, PaRappa's gone for the strip up here. It's a bit more forward and there's more room in terms of getting the units to the action. Using silos to crawl to the top right. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 refs. Seeing the engagement up here at the top DK. It's going to push back PaRappa, who's currently on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 refs. PaRappa continuing the crawl. He's got DK's units cornered. Nice little concave action there, not getting out of there. Meanwhile, we see DK's forces here switching down towards the bottom. Looks like he's trying to take map control of here so he can expand from here out to here. Wow, so at this point DK's got full control of the top left, but PaRappa is just now claiming full ownership of the top right. Wait to see the second ref go down here. Meanwhile, DK pressing the center. Going to try pick off the center ref maybe? Or go for the Harv, even more valuable. You see PaRappa going on the counter attack up here on the top. While DK's units are just sitting here a little bit idle. DK going to want to try and choke this off so he doesn't go in for a snipe. Pulling back some of the units here. This could be big if PaRappa gets this. DK does get the ref here in the meantime. As you can see, if DK opted to get a ref here instead of down here, these forces could have swooped in down here and picked this off, similar to how DK has done on this side. So it goes to show how effective this can be. But the downside of it is because he has 3 Harvs on this one field, this is now fully mined out, whereas PaRappa's got still plenty left here for the longer game. Looks like DK is starting to secure the bottom center now. PaRappa going to want to try and do damage here. Might see a turret go down. Getting a sell-off there. PaRappa going to try going to the tib and do some harassment on the harvester. Getting out of the way of the turret is nice. We've seen a calm center coming down for PaRappa. Useful, especially in non-mirrors in this match, because there's so much action going on. The minimap is actually super useful. Usually on these smaller maps, players prefer not to waste the funds for the map, but it is useful. It'll also enable them to get an obby up, so if the game goes on super long, he can switch into SSM tech. Okay, so PaRappa now is starting to crawl towards the top center. Meanwhile, DK has the bottom center, but this is a little bit of a problem. He's going to have to deal with this. Having the turrets in here, it's a little bit pricey to try and deal with this, but I guess it'll work. It'll help reinforce that his harvesters don't get sniped throughout the match. While PaRappa going in for this sneaky power plant snipe. Good to see, good to see. He's going to get his first ref down here. Meanwhile, DK's got 3 refs in the bottom midfield already. Might see an SSM or 2 here. You'll be able to get good range from here over to get the ref. But PaRappa's going to want to get the refineries down pretty quick. And a nod, bit of an awkward placement. Ooh. PaRappa gets the strip. It's going to cripple DK's production speed. He's not going to be able to keep up with PaRappa. Currently stuck on 2.5k. Can't produce fast enough. PaRappa doing a lot of damage down here to the Harvs. Meanwhile, he's safely-ish secured this. Like to see like a hand and nod or turret go down here. Hand and nod's usually a nice alternative for players who tend to like want to hold these positions because you can just spam infantry. Turret's good against vehicles, but a hand and nod lets you continuously reinforce this. But meanwhile, you can see here DK's hand and nod's going to go down. He's going to try push in here a little bit. Keep the pressure on PaRappa. At this point, PaRappa has just mined out of this side field now. See DK pushing in the top middle. Yeah, the strip loss is huge. It's not only unit production speed, but the cost of it too. It's 2k that he basically lost. He has gotten it back now, but that's 2k on a structure replacement rather than 2k on units. So as you can see, PaRappa's got a lot more on the field. DK is going to have to play it smart and be quite defensive with his choke points. These are going to come in here. Not a huge loss to lose these refs because there's no tip left. But would like to see these micro to here and using these Harvs. Similar to this situation. DK doing what he can to hold the choke. It's pretty good, pretty good. PaRappa hasn't yet made an SSM or an obelisk, but he does have the comm center, eh? So far so good. DK holding on there. Big clash here in the center. While this is going on, DK trying to hold this. PaRappa's kind of stopped his crawl. He's got 3 rafts in the top now. You can see that these harvs have mined out the top field. You can see the bottom right is now mined out. This is now mined out from both players. So the top left and top right are kind of crucial points. Interestingly enough, DK has loads of tib left here, whereas PaRappa's actually mined out this. Not quite sure how he managed to have this happen. You might have microed these harvesters up to this field earlier. See DK now going for the centered raft. This is interesting. It's quite late into the game, but this is now going to be a nice center focal point he can try hold and protect the harvest it's getting the tib. Meanwhile, PaRappa is still more or less giving up on this long distance mining. So basically the rafts from here are being used for this. There's the obelisk going down from PaRappa. Style points engaged. Seeing him actually get some cheeky tib down the bottom as well. Even if he doesn't end up keeping this, it's one less load for DK. Alright, alright. PaRappa's feeling very comfy here now. He's going to want to micro this to click up the turret. There it is. We're seeing SSMs coming out from PaRappa. Going to be able to push this back, no problem. Nice. Good engagement here from DK. PaRappa gonna hold this and he wants to keep the SSMs alive. These are quite expensive. Harv here just about to go down. Currently DK's got 250 kills, PaRappa's got 275 kills. So PaRappa definitely on top. Sniping that strip earlier was huge. It set back DK 2k. And just the unit production speed delay was like kept PaRappa on top. The obby here was nice, and the SSM was very unorthodox, a bit of a bold move on PaRappa's end, but it worked out. It's very cool to see. DK applying pressure here now. This is the real first time we've seen him try and cross into this and be super offensive. Plenty of units here and here, you can be pushing in down here. PaRappa. This is something you need to watch out for on a lot of these maps as well. If you've got multiple harvs on the field that's like basically dead, when the great tib pops up, you'll just grab that like shitty half load and keep doing it unless you micro them elsewhere. We are seeing all of DK's harvesters going for this tib. He's mined out basically the bottom point in the map. PaRappa's almost mined out the top. It's very much going to come down to once the tib runs out, who's got the better map positioning, specifically static defenses, like the turrets start to really reap rewards, because you can repair them with whatever cash you do in that. And they tend, especially against buggies, to hold up really well. It's looking pretty tight. DK doing well to get to where he is now, even despite the strip loss. So I think the loss of DK's airstrip was kind of balanced out by the not trolling nature of PaRappa's SSMs and obbies, but like I think that was not necessarily the right move. They seem to roughly balance each other out. At this point, you see the tib regrowths kicking back in here on the right and left. Now, DK's got some harvs taking the top fields. He's got a few on the bottom. He's got a swarm of infantry coming in here. PaRappa's broke at the moment. His harvs are just basically getting nothing here, having a bit of a party. If DK can get this strip, it would be pretty big. But at this point in the game, it's interesting because having double strip isn't your problem, you're eco-locked. Like, there's not enough tib on the map for you to be able to keep mass producing out of 2 strips, so actually having PaRappa or encouraging him to sell one of the strips is probably doing him a favor. Gives him an extra 1k to play around with. Yeah, PaRappa still got the MCV. We do see DK assault is off. So PaRappa does have the option to just sell and flood a whole lot of units now that there's no tib on the map. No static defenses here for DK, so it's going to be hard to attack into, in contrast to PaRappa up here, who's got some turrets. So long as PaRappa can take out these units, this is all his. Including the very forward strip. Whereas you can see that PaRappa strips are more conservative, the one here and the one that was here. Because DK had a lot of pressure on, he was trying to deal with replacing the strip that was sniped here and put it here. Which is useful for reinforcing this, but when this kicks in, it's going to be rough. Conga line of harvesters. Standard. PaRappa almost 60 whole kills ahead. Still 2 minutes left on the clock. Seeing the sell from PaRappa now, he's going to be able to flood the 2k worth of units. It's going to be GG, I think. Once he's probably going to get, he's going to go for buggies, I guess, because the only production that, well, DK's got no hand and nods in the field, so the only thing DK can produce is actually light vehicles, so probably buggies since he's so broke. But PaRappa's feeling confident to overtake him with his buggy count. GG it there. Could get a couple of bikes and like position them here to shoot over the cliff maybe, or to help just take on the structures, but since there's no turrets, there's no real incentive or necessity for PaRappa to invest in that. He can just sit back with the buggies and pick off what he can. Losing multiple hars at this point because there's no tip isn't a huge deal. You only really need 1 or 2 in key locations, but it's definitely not helpful to lose them. You're not. It's an interesting point, Shrimp. Like, if you manage to get this far into a game and you happen to have the cash for a repair bay, like, it doesn't really make sense unless you're like using the tech from it as GDI for mammoths. But if you happen to have a repair bay and didn't sell it, and it gets to this late in the game, selling your unit starts to become an interesting option. The only time you really tend to see that play out is like if people are selling their orcas after the opponent went anti-air or something. We're seeing Engineer here from PaRappa. Is he going to take the strip? He's going to take the strip. It's GG anyway, but style points times 100. Nice. That was a great game. Holy shit. So 429 kills to PaRappa, the 37850k. PaRappa killing 13 structures, DK 5. What it really came down to was that PaRappa managed to hold on to the Conyard and sell it at the last moment. Getting the 2k snipe of DK's airfield was huge. Set him back a good bit. He was able to use the SSMs, and albeit I'm not so sure how effective they were compared to if he had just invested that cash into actual raw units. But it definitely worked his favor, and it was interesting to watch. So fair play to them. Can you sell units? Yeah, you can sell them on the repair bay, as Meds said there. I believe it's 50% back. The key thing is that harvesters are worth quite a lot, so they're usually worth it if you end up running out of tib and you happen to have a repair bay, but that's such a rare situation. You can also do it to sell your orca and air units, put them on the repair bay. Sadly, you can't sell them off the air pads. I thought you could at one point, but unfortunately not. 750 each sounds about right, man. I think they're 1500 normally, so yeah, about 50%. Hey Blueser, welcome back. We're just about to finish up. It was a real nice cast of DK versus PaRappa. PaRappa.